All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. We're going to really try and do a lightning round edition here, of course, with class on the horizon. I always say that, but I never do so. Great to see everybody, though, heading into this Wednesday afternoon. All of our students joining us live in the Cyber Group Trading Room. Unanimous, loud, and clear from all. Great to see everybody. And like I'd said, streaming across social media, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back, guys. So let's hop into it. IGC, I'm going to post the news right away. Did a nice little copy and paste to begin. So IGC news came out on this stock, CBD trial for Alzheimer's. That's pretty cool, pretty interesting news at the least. I'll tell you, I'll do a quick little spiel on this stock. This was the first stock that we ended up following when the pot stocks surged going back into this very time 2 years ago. So really quickly, guys, you guys hear me talk about Tilray, TLRY, and some of the others too, like Canopy Growth, ACB, et cetera, IGC was the first one that ended up running going back into late August 2018, right? So a little less than 2 years ago to this day, but ended up popping, ended up running at this time from like 50, 60 cents all the way up towards just about 2, and then shortly thereafter just exploded. So we're familiar with this stock. It's been a while since we've traded it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, IGC became an OTC stock after that point for a bit. I could be wrong. I think I'm right, though. And then I guess they ended up being relisted on the Amex. I don't know when that happened, but obviously the news that came out today led to a huge run up, one that we're not really that surprised about at this point, given the past history. But with as much as this ran up, I mean, you could see even here shortly after the open, after holding support off of $1, ended up moving all the way up towards just about 2, came right back down pretty hard, and then made a new move up going into this afternoon, where normally you'd hear me say a stock like IGC doesn't make a second continued move. Well, there you go. It ended up doing so, but look what's happening now. So I was going to say this before as it happened. With the amount of halts that this stock had on the way up from earlier this morning and even just before right now, we knew this drop-off was going to come. It was only a matter of time. So with the number of halts that this stock was, or with the number of times this stock got halted on the way up, well, when it gets halted on the way down, we say this all the time, the reopen on the way down, there's always a gap. So it always reopens up a lot harder on the way down than it does on the way up. That's what I mean. So hopefully this IGC gives us one last run. I will say at this point, though, I'm not expecting it. Just given the volume, the activity, I don't mind just tagging this on our list for right now, IGC. See if it ends up doing, the rare third move up. But yeah, for right now, I think the move here is done. We'll see if this gets back over 2 at least. All right. At least if this stock doesn't move later on today, guys, keep it on your side list for the rest of this week and next at least. All right. So IGC, we'll see what's doing going into the afternoon with that one, but we'll go from top to bottom, of course. Like I'd said, we have class finishing up, phase 3, lesson 4 for all of our gold, platinum, diamond students inside the Cyber Group Trading Room. PTNG. So it popped earlier today. Huge spread. Not really doing a whole lot right now. I guess holding underneath 37, but yeah, gonna pass. All right, for any of the others that we ended up actually trading, we'll run through them quickly like we did the IGC. CBMG looks like a buyout. I'm just going to skip over it. We didn't trade it. This XPEL, I don't think we traded this going into this morning, but it seems like it's moving up pretty nicely here. I like the trend. Pretty light volume per minute. It's trading 1.5 million shares total across the day, which compared to how much it normally trades, it's a lot. So in that sense, I like it, but just wacky spread, very thin spread out order book. I'm not really going to follow level 3 with that in mind. So we're going to pass on this trade here. See if there's anything looking a little bit more filled in, a little bit better as far as trend momentum. PACB not doing much either. All right, well, I'll tell you, I mean, hey, it makes it easy for us to skim through. We know it's going to be worth watching or not pretty shortly. This BOXL I want to jump to quickly as far as just what happened from earlier today. You actually see that I have an open order out there. I'll explain that just next. But for right now, the BOXL trade, at least, going into the morning, news came out on this trade. I don't have the copy and paste right now, so pardon me for that. But huge pop from 2 all the way up towards 270, moved up to 290 leading into the open, but then dumped off after. I'll tell you, this thing has had major support all day. You can see it on the chart. But from the pre-market, we had this huge, like 150,000 share order on the bid. It was right at $2.40. It ended up breaking under the level and back over. this was the sweet spot to take this trade going into the morning. Ended up running from 240 up towards just about 255 and held support later on to make a new high, but ended up coming back down. Going into this afternoon, at least for right now, I have an open order out there in case if this ends up making the pop through 250. So I have a stop limit to try and buy if it breaks over 250 to catch the momentum. But for right now, I'm not banking on it. So just because I have the open order out there doesn't mean I'm going to put this on our list. It looks pretty flat, pretty dead for right now. I hope this ends up making the move. I'd love to make some money on this trade, but I don't really want to watch the grass grow. So it's all about opportunity cost right now, guys. Maybe later on, if this ends up inching up, we'll coming back to it. But yeah, for right now, I'll pass. There we go. Anthony S., I appreciate that. One of our new members in the trading room. We posted it earlier. I just didn't have it on me right now. So with that in mind, I'll actually copy and paste for all of us on YouTube. So Anthony posted BOXL, an education technology company, signed a strategic partnership with Samsung. That's right. All right. And that was speculated back from earlier mid-July, but now the news is official. All right. EYEG, really quickly, guys. I said this earlier, and I was like half joking, half not, but EYEG today looking a whole lot like EYEN from yesterday. Like crazy. I mean, this made a much sharper move on the way down, but just was a complete dud. EYEG, same type of sharp pop in the pre-market, slumped off leading into the open, and after a quick little move up, came back down. That was it. All right, here's a familiar name at least, Sava, S-A-V-A. We ended up trading them going back into, I think it was like mid-May. They were down off like bad news, 75, 80% drop-off in pre-market trading. It was a really good dead cat bounce at the time, continued to spike up, as you could see, across the few weeks after here and there. Today, obviously, ended up making a nice pop. You know what? Let me actually just jump to this on Benzinga Pro. Let's see. Oh, this was just earnings. Interesting. All right. I'm surprised I didn't even have this on my earnings calendar here at my home office, just because it's a familiar name. We've traded it, done well on it. So, yeah, SAVA, this was just off earnings news. Q2 EPS results up from last year. Ended up making a nice pop from 3 up towards almost 4. So another one to keep on your side list for the remainder of this week and even next. I just think like for right now, it's going to just dud off going into the afternoon. I feel like it's just going to, just slump off and that's it. All right, so let's see what else we have here, guys. I'll just go really quickly. Like I said, class coming up at 3 o'clock. SNCR moving up pretty well. Pop back on Monday, and then here we are again today. Kind of light volume per minute, but spreads are tight. Liquidity is there on the book. Made a pop and drop up to 420 and back down. Just see here really quick. Yeah, not really a big iceberg order, I guess, rather here, 416, 4,300 shares. It's not like the biggest, but in relation to the volume that was filled, there was a lot here at 410, some here at 415, some at 416, where you have that seller. If you guys remember, we were talking about this one stock yesterday really quickly. Just want to jump to it fast. It's doing nothing right now. Hall, H-A-L-L. We were talking about this move yesterday. We caught this during the meeting. We said pretty much the same type of like strategy. If this were to break above $4.20, I think it would make a nice run up. Ended up doing exactly that. Maybe it was 428 from the order book. Popped 428 just from the chart, as you could see, and made a nice continued move for a bit. So kind of in the same line of thinking, I'm thinking the same there as well. All right, for that SNCR. So for right now, I'll kind of keep this on our list, I guess, at the bottom. All right, Blink. I think Blink has earnings this week, maybe even tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just turn my head back. Yeah, I think so. Blink earnings this week. Ended up making a nice pop shortly after the open, moving up nicely now. So yeah, this one's an easy one just to put on our list. Familiar name, moving up pretty sharply. Looks like there's just about 7,400 shares on the ask at 1140. I would also assume just pretty much right above the high of the day, 1150. Both of those price levels to act as like minor and major resistance. All right, cool. Tesla with the split, right? Fausto had this on the morning watch list leading into the open today, and of course moving up nicely right now. Obviously, for a few of us here in the trading room that we're asking, guys, we're not really going to put a $1,500 symbol on our list every day. But with the news that came out with the run up today, if you don't trade the stock and if you're familiar with the option on it, go for it. So at least for right now, just to follow along, TSLA, Tesla, we'll keep it on our list. I wish I could have Bookmap up, our level 4 as we nickname, just to let you guys know pretty transparently. I think it was like crashing my screen with the amount of volume IGC was trading. It was right before the meeting started. So I wanted to close my level 4, my Bookmap down just before we started the meeting here. So I would put this up for Tesla just to see where we have major resistance. I would assume $1,600 level, at least right there. 1550 probably a support level coming up on the way down. That's just my dumb assumption, but we'll see where that ends up. All right, let's see. I think that just about does it on the gainer side. Maybe PEIX just to check in with. Shortable trade ended up dropping off shortly after the market opened up, pulling back here now. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one that Fausto wouldn't be as keen to put on the watch list, but the stock is shortable for those of us with TradeStation. It's moving down pretty nicely. Rebroke underneath 4 finally. If anything, it seems like it's like 395. That was the support from the chart, but ended up dropping off here a bit. Hasn't broken lower just yet across the lows of the day. 20,000 share order on the bid at 380. 25,000 share order on the bid at 370. I'd say pretty much 10-cent levels on this trade. All right. So I'll tell you guys, honestly, it's not really the greatest list so far going into the afternoon. Hopefully we have a lot more left on the losers on the side list, if anything. I mean, I do like that blink. We're going to keep the IGC on our list just given the volatility. PEIX looks good here too, but I assume that most of us aren't going to be trading Tesla. This OSPN, look at this. Ask and I shall receive, down 40% almost at the lows of the day. Shortable. Spreads might be a little wacky, especially if this ends up making a slam under. But yeah, definitely exactly where we would want the stock to be going into this afternoon. OSPN. Don't know what the company is. Don't really care. I mean, aside for you guys here, I'll copy and paste the news, I reckon. But in terms of the news, it's not going to make my decision where and when I'm going to trade the stock. But it's more so just the fact of the momentum, seeing the stock drop off. Normally a stock right near the lows of the day. Specifically around 3 o'clock, 3:30 Eastern time. If they're still right there, great chance they end up breaking lower. I guess kind of boring news on this one. OSPN just, I guess, weaker than expected Q2 results. That's it. All right, so at least for right now, definitely keep this on our list. I'll do the same thing that I just did before for the SNCR. I mean, a really minimal volume traded off the 1880, 4,700 share order on the bid there. So really, if it slams under low of the day, this might make the bigger shakedown. We'll see. JMIA ended up making a nice recovery, at least going into this afternoon. I feel like that move died off, though. Ended up dropping off after the open, bottomed out pretty much off the 1150, moved up nicely, just about 2 points higher. Maybe it'll move, at least for right now. We'll keep it off our list. Definitely a great stock, like I'd said before with a few of the others. Definitely to keep this stock, as we have been at least, here in the trading room. Keep this JMIA on your side list. Tomorrow, Friday, next week. It's just been a very volatile stock, a fantastic run up over the last 2.5 weeks. Ended up, obviously, dropping off shortly thereafter, and now, big drop going into this morning. So, we just embrace the volatility. I don't think that we can get the shares to short this. For those of us with TradeStation, we've been trying, just been getting denied. But either way, we wait for the bounce. We'll try and take that, or otherwise on days where it ends up breaking out and running very nicely, we'll try and ride the wave up. All right. RRGB down 16%, shortable, moving pretty nicely. I mean, it's still at this point. The volume may have died off a little bit, but higher lows off the 890, and then obviously over 9 right now. I mean, I don't mind the range where we don't really have too many stocks on our list thus far. I don't mind adding this year. So NVAX, Novavax also pretty pricey. Ended up huge drop today. I feel like all the Corona stocks ended up dropping off early and ended up making like some similar type of move here. NVAX dropped off pretty sharply and popped up. SRNE did the same thing. We did really well on this trade earlier on this morning. VXRT, same thing. The VXRT looks pretty interesting if you have the shares to short it. It's hard to borrow for those of us on TradeStation, down 15+%. Would have gotten to this pretty much next anyway. But yeah, I mean, that 9 level looks really interesting. So, I'm not going to put this on our list just because we can't short it. But if you can, not a bad setup to consider. Moved all the way up towards the VWAP, broke over the VWAP up towards 950, and then pulled all the way back down. So if it ends up breaking underneath the 81,000 share order on the bid off 9, I mean, that could be it. All right, what else do we have here, folks? Anything else? Up, down, left, right, 10%, guys? Anything that looks good, just type it in the chat board. Let me know. TGI, kind of in the same line as that RRGB. I don't want to put too many of those stocks on our list. It's moving up a little bit. TIGR from Trading PC here. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, wow! How did I not get to this? I'll be honest. Just now looking back in hindsight, I did see this. I guess I just skipped over it at the time. Yeah, the TIGR, fantastic call. Easily on our list. Very similar to JMIA actually. Just in the sense of this here. Give me a quick sec. And TIGR was an IPO that we ended up following going back into early 2019. We saw this stock run all the way up from 7 to like 30, 25, whatever, and then dropped all the way back down. So this is the type of stock, a low float stock that has ran up in the past, dropped all the way off, and has made, a nice short squeeze up thus far. JMIA was the same damn thing. The same exact thing. In April 2019, ran from 18 all the way up to 50, then dropped all the way back down. So, look what JMIA did just recently here over the last month. Not to say that, TIGR is going to do the exact same, but you could see it started to, at least going back into early July. Nice run so far. And Dennis, I just saw Dennis write that here in the trading room as well. So Dennis and our guy from YouTube Trading PC, very nice. All right, Chuck, Blink. Yeah, Blink, I thought we already put on our list, no? Is this just moving up? Oh, yeah, it's just moving up higher now. Good. So even further, more reason to watch this stock then at least, Chuck. Good call. All right. Well, at least now you happen to see about a 9,800 share. I saw 10,000 a moment ago on the ask at 1150. You can see all of the prints at 1140 that got filled. So it does go to show, and that call out was on point. 1140, 1150, the two resistance levels to watch here at this point on this trade. All right, we'll jump back to Boxel, as we like to call it, BOXL. That'll do. Ooh, look at this. I mean, it's inching up. It's starting to inch up a little bit. You know what? I mean, we don't have as many on our list this afternoon, at least. Well, we have 3, 6, 8. You're checking on the airlines, the cruise lines for right now. I don't want to be filled with too much hope. American Airlines dropped off very nicely today. This was a really good short. Check out the cruise lines like NCLH. This looks pretty weak right now. Pass on this. UAL moving up nicely. Another airline at least. Neither an airline or a cruise line, but a casino stock, Penn National Gaming. That's right. We were going to talk about Penn National Gaming going into this meeting. I forgot about that. I had mentioned briefly at the time, if the markets were holding strong and if Penn was, kind of near the highs, with it breaking already all-time highs over the last week, I thought it would make a really nice run into the close. Just checking on the SPY S&P ETF. Markets are right where we want them to be, at least. Penn dropped off a little bit, but you know what? I don't mind adding Penn, and I guess I'm a sucker. I'll add BOXL at the end of here, too. We'll see if that ends up making the pop over 250. All right, guys, don't spend too much time watching the grass grow on that Boxel trade. At least set the order up. If it pops, then try and set up your risk quickly and let it run from there like I'm going to do. Aside from Boxel, though, we have a pretty strong list heading into this afternoon. So let me post and tweet these out to you guys right now. It's only 2:49, so this was pretty quick. getting better at least with that. So I'll post and tweet the pics. I'll post and tweet the link coming up for class shortly thereafter. For anybody tuning in on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, you guys know the deal at this point. And if you're new, or rather that, if you'd like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, make sure at least you guys head right over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and more so than anything, just notify yourself as far as when we're going to be heading live or not. All right, guys, for all of us here inside the trading room, like I'd said, best of luck going into this close. And with that, we'll post the link coming up for class very shortly. Take care. Oh, actually, really quick. Whoa, timeout. I just got filled. I just leaned into 250 and I got filled. We'll see if this ends up running because I leaned into the trade. Doesn't mean it's going to pop just yet, but at the buzzer, this thing just hit 250. All right, so now we have a trade on our hands, folks. BOXL, John. That's it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.